bags are packed, are you ready to go? This time tomorrow we'll be on the road, riding with you into sunnier days. I wouldn't want it any other way.
Hello, everyone. Welcome back to Children of Éarte. We're so excited to have you here. And first, as usual, we will kick it over to Adam for our sponsors.
We have Idle Champions of the Forgotten Realms. Thank you so much for your support. And if you're joining from the game, thank you for coming over. Stay a while and watch. And we do have an Electrum chest that is bouncing around in chat, or you can grab the code there. Actually, the chest itself is not bouncing around. That would be pretty cool if we could figure that out. But there's a code for the chest that you can input for that free Electrum chest. Thank you, Idle Champions of the Forgotten Realms. We also have Die Hard Dice, who has supplied our crew, and here we go. I like this one, actually, with possibility providers. Providers. We've made it all the way to the P's here. So possibility providers, and you can grab 10% off your purchase at Die Hard Dice with the code Éarte. We will also be giving away a gift card in chat, so stay tuned for that. And then finally, tonight, you will hear the dulcet tones of Sirenscape, because epic games need epic sound. I am Adam Bradford, the CDO at Demiplane, and I am playing Silas Jordan. I don't have any further commentary on him. I'm just playing Silas Jordan.
Hi everyone, I'm Alicia Marie, and I'm Alicia Marie Body on socials. Socials.
It is. That's a lot of shit.
It's been a long day.
It's been a long day. I'm a creative artist and costumer, so being that it's October and a couple weeks from Halloween, I am in a special kind of hell, happy hell sort of situation. Tuesdays, you can find me here on the Demiplane channel for Children of Éarte. On Monday nights, you can find me on the Glass Cannon Network for Voyagers of the Jump, which is a traveler RPG. And then on Fridays, we have a Radiant Citadel with Radiant Stories with Lauren Irvin as our DM, and also with Jen Dream Wisp. Tonight, I will be playing Fairuza Armstrong, rope holder and lawyer.
Hey,
excellent rope holder. Sorry. An excellent rope holder.
At law.
Holder at law. I love it.
I want that now at the end of your name after whatever title you put in.
Yep. Rope holder Esquire. Yes. Thank you.
I love it.
Oh my gosh. We're really punchy tonight.
It's punchy. It's going to be a punchy one tonight. It's going to be great.
Yep.
Yes,
hello. I am Jen Kretchmer. You can find me on Twitter as @DreamWisp. You can find me streaming on Twitch as DreamWispJen. Mondays, I am on my channel. Tuesdays, I am here. Fridays, I am part of Radiant Stories. Also, right now, I am one of the authors and voice actors who is part of Anansi's Tapestry of Lives, which is Neverending's book. We have more than 85 different creatives involved, NPCs for all of your games. It's system agnostic. We have voice actors who are doing their intro monologues. It's really, really cool. Please go check it out. We're really, really proud of what we have created. And today I am playing your friendly neighborhood troublemaker, Maeve Morgan Flynn.
Hi, I'm Lauren Urban. I'm the content coordinator over at Idle Champions of the Forgotten Realms. You can find me on Twitter as OboLauren. You can find me doing a lot of the same stuff that Alicia and Jen are doing. And it pleases me every single week when they talk about all that stuff because they say it way better than I can. Tonight I'm playing Neb, who is really happy that Fairuza is so good at being rope holder at law.
Hi, I'm Hope LaVelle. You can follow me on Twitter at @HopeLaVelle. I'm a motion capture performer by day, and by night, I am Mrs. Adventuring Granny for Hire Robin Beckett.
Silas is going to pay her bunches of money.
Yeah, exactly.
Right. Getting business cards with these, Maeve, right?
Yeah.
Granny for hire.
I would.
Oh, and I am Deborah Ann Woll. I'm your storyteller for the evening. And I have a podcast, Truest Blood. Check it out if you love HBO's True Blood. And I'm an actor and a writer and a D&D enthusiast. So here we are. Thank you, players and Josh and everyone at home for being here today. Let's get cozy and settle in for the 23rd chapter of Children of Éarte, which Silas is very excited about. Even though
23 is
Silas
the best number.
Silas is not aware that this is the 23rd chapter.
Or is he?
Or is he
somehow?
in his heart? Aren't we all the main character
Yes.
in our lives? So where we left off last week, we had a lovely retrospective kind of time as each of our characters descended down the crevasse into the deepest level of this mine, as far as you know. And yes, Fairuza, you were up at the top holding onto the rope bravely, making sure that everyone else got down safely. Now, they did secure it to the piton up there, so it is secured for you to climb down. It's just that you will fall a little farther should you make a misstep than the others. But they are all down. They give a tug on the rope to let you know that it's safe, and you can begin your descent.
Okay. So Fairuza is sort of, the whole time she's holding the rope. And I mean, a couple times she felt a couple tugs, and for a minute she doubted, can I really hold this rope? You know, it's really important to her. But then right away, as sure as she was the day she graduated top of her class at Harvard, as sure as she was that she was going to get a junior attorney position at Whitehead and Watkins in New York City, she knew she was going to be able to hold that rope for her friends to go down. She didn't even have to roll for it. She knew. As soon as she feels the tug, she sort of leans over and she's like, you guys ready?
Yeah, come on down. We've got cheese. No, we don't really. We've just been talking about it.
All right.
We had cheese.
Silas, we don't even know what day of the week it is. What are you talking about?
I want to emphasize it takes like a second for the sound to reach each of you through this like 90-foot chasm.
90 feet.
Had.
All right. She's going to make sure that, you know, the piton is secure, like double check again, you know, as Robin taught them to do and be. And she's going to throw one long leg over and start climbing down. And sort of as she's making this descent into the cave, like super slow, because it is
a very dark, narrow passage. Now you're quite skinny, so for you sort of sliding through this, you're able to fit, but you do, you know, these extra long limbs that now you seem to have acquired do feel a little foreign to you, and you do feel kind of like a daddy long legs, a long-legged creature climbing through this space.
Sort of. And she's like, you know, she's, you know, thinking to herself, I've never been athletic. You know, people used to ask me if I played basketball. I've never been strong. So this is a lot of fun for her. Like it's exploring this newfound strength. So she's sort of loving it and seeing like these, like sort of like the hints of muscle that are just sort of showing themselves in her forearms as she goes down. And while she's climbing, she sort of lets her mind drift because she realizes that she can. And she's like, you know, why? I mean, yes, it's a beautiful moose. Why do I like it so much? She's like, why do I feel like I have a connection to something? Yes, it's majestic, it's white, it's big, it's odd. My friend Neb spoke to it, but what is this? Why? I was like, it has these beautiful, and right as she says that to her in her head, she realizes that the moose's eyes sort of remind her of something. And she realizes the eyes remind her of Frederick's eyes, her bird back in New York City. And she's like, that moose has Frederick's eyes? That's so weird. I mean, they're kind of gold with those like copper bronze flecks in them. She's like, no. And she just keeps climbing. And then she's like, she allows her mind to wander back to thinking about New York City and her job and how much she loves working. And, she's like, wow, I'm going to have such a story for them. And then she starts thinking about why she became an attorney and why she became the type of attorney she is, which is foster care. And then she starts thinking about her bird again. And she's like, the bird's eye. She's like, the connection. She goes, I remember being home, coming home from work or coming home for lunch or something. And this bird was like sitting on her windowsill. She's like, someone let an umbrella cockatoo out. And she put signs up because those birds are expensive. She put signs up everywhere. And she's like, did anyone lose an umbrella cockatoo? And no one ever came forward. People just shook their head when they would ask. So Frederick became her bird. One thing that always sort of pulled her in about this bird was, first of all, it must have been meant for her because it appeared on her windowsill out of nowhere. It barks like a dog, which is strange in the first place. But there was something about the bird's eyes that kept her sort of like, I don't know, enthralled. But she like, it's just odd for a bird to have any color in its eyes whatsoever. It's bizarre. So as she's climbing, she's just thinking about things, thinking about that. And then she's reminded about something else, something a little bit deeper than just the moose with the cool eyes and the bird that just appeared on her windowsill with the cool eyes. She became a lawyer because she wanted to reform foster care because she believed something happened to her younger sister, Samiris. And that's something she always kept sort of in her heart. But I think just being in these surroundings with these people she's never met before and all these things that she's putting her body through, part of her mind opens and a memory sort of unlocks and it causes her to like almost let go of the rope. She remembers sitting across from the woman, Miss Priscilla, sitting her down and holding her hand. Miss Priscilla was telling her about the family that was going to adopt her and make her their daughter. And she said, but what about Samiris? She has to come with me. And Miss Priscilla took her hand and said, it's time for you to be the girl you were supposed to be and the woman you're meant to be. You have to do this by yourself. Remember, Samiris will always be here. But she's not meant to go any further than this. Because Fairuza, deep down inside, realizes that Samiris was an imaginary friend. She was a concoction of a young girl who went through a really traumatic experience of losing her parents. And because of that, the school said, just let her have this. Let her have this imaginary friend, let her have this imaginary sister, because look at what happened to this girl. But when she was ready to get adopted, that's when Miss Priscilla said, well, maybe we should, help her remember. But this is something that as she's climbing down the rope, Fairuza is realizing, like, I think she's like, I always knew it, but there was something that was not allowing her to see it. So as she's descending almost to the bottom, she's reminded that I was doing this for myself, but yes, I was doing this for myself. And that Samiris was really just a part of who Fairuza was, her personality. And creating Samiris was part of her journey. And it was part of what she was supposed to do. And I think at that moment, she sort of gets like, I don't know, there's something's bolstered inside of her. And then she gets to the bottom and she looks and I guess she sees the other four. And when you guys see her,
they're below you. So as
they're
you
below
come
me?
to the end there, before, when this
Okay.
this gasp comes over you, as this memory comes back and almost makes you, lose your footing.
And then
What do you see in Miss Priscilla's face as she asks you to let go of Samiris?
At first, Fairuza just sort of frowns and shakes her head like she doesn't want to hear it. But Fairuza's a smart girl. And when she looks up at Miss Priscilla, her eyes are shining with unshed tears. And Miss Priscilla, with a smile on her face, just sort of takes her hand and says, "You're meant, this is where you're supposed to be. Samiris would want you to go and be who you're supposed to be. Right, Fairuza? This is what your mom and dad would want. You're way more. You are way more than you think you are. And you can do this. Right?" And Fairuza was a little girl then. But maybe she's an old soul. I don't know. But
Give me an insight check.
okay. 9.
A 9.
Mhm.
As your little girl Fairuza looks up at the face of this woman who has cared for you, has loved you, all you can tell looking at her face is that the love is real. She's excited for you and your new life, but she has a secret. Little girl Fairuza, all she can sort of glean out of Miss Priscilla's face is that there's something she isn't telling you. And that look has haunted you in a way your whole life. It didn't feel big or scary, but you've always remembered it.
Which is what makes her leaving me that ticket all the more bizarre. I don't know why I was afraid to ask her. Maybe the answers are here. Maybe.
As you come to that conclusion, your feet sort of lose their footing as you reach the bottom of this crevice, and you can see there's still 20 feet below you between the ceiling of this cavern and your friends on the ground below. But the rope is still there. Give me a strength saving throw, please.
Oh no. Come on. Oh, 23.
23. So as your feet, lose grip, you hold on tight, swinging freely, but holding your whole body and just hand over hand, like, the nightmare gym class come to life, but you are a superhero and you just glide yourself down, landing soft-footed next to the rest of the party.
You know what, you guys? I honestly, and she just looks at each one of her new friends, I honestly have no idea what we're doing here. And I have no idea why we all got on that train. And I have absolutely no idea why we're at the bottom of a cave right now. But I do know something. I know that we were all supposed to be here for some reason. But we were all supposed to be here.
I totally agree. Let's
through them with their headlamps and some of the reflection again of these sort of phosphorescent organisms and ice and things around you. The other thing you notice, Fairuza, is it is freezing cold down here. It was as soon as you kind of went past that crevice into this space, you felt the chill sort of rise up your spine. But looking around here and just getting a peek through the kind of trees of stalagmites here, you see a huge frozen underwater lake with a wooden dock leading out about 10 feet into the middle, towards the middle.
This looks safe.
I would like to think I learned a lot from the last time we encountered ice-covered stuff. But all I really learned was that frostbite is bad. Does anyone see a thing we're supposed to do or a boat?
Well, you know what they say.
What?
Get a closer look.
And Maeve's gonna head
Who
over onto
says
the dock.
that?
I have heard so many people say that. Yeah.
Maeve,
Myth Robin. Yeah.
Maeve, as you step out onto the wooden dock, it's a little slippery. There's frost on the ground as you sort of step out onto it. It's only about a foot above the ice, which you can sort of look down into and see it's full of cracks, sort of scattered cracks throughout the space, creating these kind of large ice flows that are sort of bolted together. Yeah.
Looking at the cracks, I'm gonna go back. I gotta find what I'm looking for to make sure I'm doing this. Does there seem to be one in particular that seems to stick out in any way? That seems particularly identifiable?
Give me an investigation check, please.
Okay.
Can I help with that? Because I would have also been like
So if
checking
you
everything
step
out.
out with Maeve, we'll add your intelligence modifier.
It's a +3 as
All right.
as I'm oohing and ahhing at everything.
Pointing things out.
23.
23. So standing at the edge of this dock, there's a couple of things you notice. One is that the cracks in the ice at first glance, although they appear organic, seem to make kind of a grid formation.
That's what I was hoping.
Across this frozen lake. You can see that this is fairly thin ice. It does not look terribly stable to you. And the main thing you notice, and this will be maybe where Neb helps out a little bit, Neb points out towards the very center of this lake where there is a particularly large ice flow, bigger than all of the other ones. It's a good little ways away out there. And it does seem to have it seems sturdier, larger, more frozen solid right there in the middle.
I need to clarify, what is an ice flow?
Basically an iceberg, like a flat,
So
the thing that
meaning it's not a flat sheet of ice. It is broken.
It's a broken, yes. So essentially it's like
so we can fall through the
It's
cracks.
like almost like a little floating island.
Yes, like little floating islands of ice that are in a
Okay.
grid formation, and the cracks between them, yes, have a little bit of water peeking through from there. The cracks are thin,
Okay.
but you notice that a lot of these ice sheets are pretty fragile.
May I look at on the dock? Is there any indication, like, is there anything carved into it or drawn on
Investigation check, please.
it? Okay.
Neb, you want to help me over there?
Yeah, I feel like at this point I've got my fire fist going.
Okay,
and I'm
great. Helping
trying
with
to-
some light. Okay,
That's
Yeah.
a 21.
a 21. You see at the very end of the dock, kind of over the edge, as you sort of, lean your head over the side, on the side, it is carved Steve into the wood. And you know what? With a 21, I'll even offer that on the stone wall, not too far away, maybe 10 feet off to the side, you think you can see some carvings. You can't identify them from over here. They're covered in frost, but you see carvings that look somewhat similar to the things you've been finding around the cave.
Ooh, let's go.
Silas is just going to light up a ring,
Mm-hmm.
and green light just kind of pours into the thing, and he's just going to start walking
Yeah.
around the
It
side.
100% looks like Krypton.
Nice.
And then Silas, under his breath, is like, "Man, this is like the Fortress of Solitude."
What was that?
Fortress of Solitude, and maybe some stuff like
Yeah,
shape.
bats. Fly around, a couple of stalactites fall. One of them will crash into the lake in front of you, smashing an ice flow on the far side. But you can see right then how delicate these flows are.
My
when-
bad.
When Maeve found Steve carved,
Yes.
is it I don't know if this makes any difference, but you said we had to look over onto it.
Yep.
Is it carved in so that it would be upside down if we were standing on the lake?
Yes, it is.
Hmm.
Upside down and backwards for the for normal viewing. But yes, as you lean over, it's as if it was carved by someone doing the same motion that you are doing.
Okay, we know we're on the right track. Also, now we know we need to not be loud.
I think there's something over there, and I'll point to where the carvings are.
Mhm.
Over here, and Silas is just going to kind of shine the light as best he can over there.
Cool. Yeah. As you kind of move that around to give it different angles and things, you are able to kind of light up the ice so that you can see it more clearly. And Josh, let's share with everyone the final, I forget what I titled it, but you know what I'm
Yay.
looking for. And we'll send it off to everybody. Essentially, on this wall, you see up at the top written Steve,
putting-
Steve,
Sorry, are you putting it in
Steve.
Demi or Twitter?
Oh, where are we
Demiplane?
getting it? He's working on it. I will describe it. You'll see it very soon. But you see in a line across the top, it says Steve, 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 Steve. It's written Steve 4 times. Below that, it says 1, 2, 3, 4, and lines. So you sort of recognize this as potentially the clues you have already solved. But it's offering you the Vigneri scale to kind of offer it. So there we go. Steve, 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 Steve.
Okay.
This man really loved his name.
I
just
didn't
need to
realize
look
we
at
were going to
the
have to fill
before.
in a test on a wall. Do we think we actually have to carve this in, or
I think we have the answer we're looking for here. So on the one, I would like to type in or write in. Let me just make sure there's nothing I'm missing here. Skip to step L.
All right, so you can make your way along through the trees of stalactites to kind of get over there, and brush away some of the frost to kind of get in there. Are you going to carve it? Are you going to write it with pencil? What's your plan?
It's carved right into the wall.
This is carved, yes.
I think I'm actually just gonna write it.
Okay. You have
And
a
see what
pen or a
happens.
pencil or something.
Sure, or lip liner, whatever.
Great, with lip liner, I
Yeah.
love it. What color is your
Robin
lip
has
liner?
some.
Nude, probably.
Okay, so
Well,
just
it's winter.
beige.
I have a couple. Yeah.
You have a beige lip liner. All right, so as you go in and you write skip to step L on the top, it seems to sort of soak into the stone, be absorbed.
oh, that was really cool.
So wait, you have magic lip liner?
Yes.
Or it's a
MRF.
magic wall.
Makeup is magic. Didn't you know?
I mean, she's not wrong there. I've never
Haven't
been
paid
able to
much
figure out
attention.
how to get it to work, but I know that is real world magic. But no, I think this is a magic wall.
Do it again.
On this okay. On the second line, I'll write skip 1, turn L.
It also seems to soak into the stone.
I mean, we
Third
wouldn't really
line.
know if it's a magic wall or magic lip liner unless we tried the lip liner somewhere else. I'm just saying.
Maybe later. It's expensive.
Well, if it's magic, we don't want to waste it.
We have a couple. Third line, I'm going to write in skip tree, don't slip.
Soaks into the granite.
And fourth, turn our step skip.
As that soaks in, there's a little pulse of light, not unlike you saw on Steve the statue. This little pulse of light, and it then catches your attention that on that large ice floe in the very center of the lake, there's another pulse of light, and you think you see a reflected shard of mirror stuck in the ice, frozen solid.
You did it.
Ooh.
We did it. You see that, right?
There has to be a catch.
How far away is that out there?
Like 60 feet.
Perfect.
No.
No.
Maybe like 60. Well, 60, I just counted it. So, well, no, okay. From the end of the dock, 60 feet.
Got it.
because it's in the middle of this large ice floe, but it is frozen solid in the ice.
Okay.
But yes, 60 feet from the end of the dock.
It's frozen solid on the ice.
Well, I think it's time.
Time for what, Robin?
Time to dance. Skip 2, loop-de-loo, slap
Oh.
leather. This is it.
This is it.
So who's
Okay,
going
where do
to
we
do it?
start?
I'm
So,
afraid I'm going to be too heavy for this.
I'm happy to go if you want me to. But
Maeve, you have been figuring out this puzzle thus far. Maybe if you feel brave enough, why not? Give it a go. We believe in you.
all right, at the end of the dock,
Yes.
pressing sort of, can I take out one of my cane, like take out my cane and open
Yeah,
it up and press
absolutely.
on the different nearby ice floes to see if I can find myself a starting place that's not gonna immediately crash through.
Yes. So as you tap on all of the ice floes that are directly around this dock, they all shatter immediately.
What? Good thing we checked.
Yeah, good thing I didn't step down there.
Mhm.
And obviously, there must be one that's solid, and that's our starting place. As any of them look
I mean, does
different?
any of it spell Jehovah? But it starts with an I?
Oh, I love that movie. Maeve, the first line is skip 2, so maybe the first 2 bits are all gonna be bad,
Well,
and
that's
somewhere
quite
on
a
the
leap, wouldn't it
third.
be?
That's at least 10 feet.
Yeah.
Oh.
I mean, I'm just making a guess. Can you try the second line of ice, I guess?
How far does your
Skip
cane
2,
reach?
step out.
It's probably, it's waist height. It's probably like 3 feet, 3.5 feet.
So yeah, unfortunately, you can't reach you can reach the ice floe right in front of the dock, but you can't quite reach the one that's 5 feet away.
Are there
from
any
that.
heavier rocks anywhere around us?
Sure.
So Silas is going to stretch out his hand and float up one of the heaviest rocks that he can see, 50,
Gotcha.
60 pounds.
Oh boy, yeah.
And he is going
That's a
to
big rock.
move it to the first one that he comes to that's in that second row and drop it down on it.
So
So
there's
we'll
the
say
one
left.
so there's the one Maeve sort of killed all the flows right around the dock.
Right.
And you want to go one past what
One
Maeve
past
did?
that, yeah. And I am just going to drop the rock on the first one I see to the left.
So it's like a grid. So are you going straight out from the dock?
Yeah, sorry. So
No worries.
So how many did she do in front of the dock?
I mean, she did the one directly in front of the dock and the
Okay.
ones along the side.
Right. So I will just go turning to the left of whatever
Gotcha.
second round of them would be. And I'm
Okay.
going to drop the rock on the first one there.
I mean, it crashes through.
Okay.
Oh my
I'm
gosh.
going to keep dropping rocks until I see
Yes.
one that holds the rock.
So everything 10 feet. So, Maeve crushed everything 5 feet out.
Mm-hmm.
You crush everything 10 feet out in this, in the semicircle going out.
Oh, no.
This is what I thought.
Goodness.
Okay, so
This is the
go
skip 2.
yeah, skip 2 and do the one on the left.
I mean,
So-
how was Steve going to get over there? I mean, that's like, I mean, Michael Jordan couldn't make it across that.
Well, we've got a Fairuza.
Can I get over there?
I
The
don't
first thing
know.
I'm thinking was like maybe we can turn Neb into a bird and give the bird my axe, and the axe.
Silas is
and
going to
get
keep
the-
concentrating and
Uh-huh.
continuing to grab rocks and drop it further and further as long as
Okay.
it takes him to see if one will actually hold a rock.
Gotcha. So now the third, concentric circle, you're now doing all the
Yeah.
15 feet out. You find that exactly 10 feet away from the edge of the dock, so directly in front, that flow holds your rock.
Once I see that, I'm going to lift a few more rocks and put it
Uh-huh.
on there just to like try to simulate the weight of an actual person.
Seems to be holding.
Okay. Then I'm going to skip. I'm going to push them all off.
Okay.
And they just plop
They
down
all
into the water.
plop down into the water beyond that flow. That is a 10-foot jump from the dock to land on that.
Okay, so
10 feet.
Robin's right. We're dancing on ice. I think there's a whole team that does that all over the country. So that's the skip 2, and then we turn to the left, and then you probably skip 1 and go forward, and then it's going to be like a little.
So if
path.
I get a bit of a running start,
Mhm.
I can make that jump.
So
Okay.
here's how I understand it, and you'll have to tell me. So it's a 10-foot jump. With 10 feet of movement, you can jump the number of feet of your strength score.
Correct.
Yes.
Normally.
Normally, hey, love it. So this is the rule we'll play by, unless you have features that shift that.
I do.
Fantastic. I will remind you as well, jumping on ice has some
Slippery.
slippage factors to factor in.
Okay, so
Do we have any
go.
treads or anything with us?
Do we have any rope?
Heads.
Let's
You
go
have
get
no
some
more
rope.
You've used
Like-
all your rope to come down.
Okay. Burberry
I think we
boots.
decided that. But you might have some crampons. I could say you have some spikes, maybe.
If I can, I'd like to strap those to the soles of my shoe.
All right, Maeve's gonna give this a shot.
I'm just putting
Maeve,
something in chat quickly.
That's brilliant. Before you go, we should probably decide: are we all following you, or just a couple of us going? Because
no.
I don't know about that.
I've done the ice skipping as a wolf before.
We'll-
I'll do it again, but
we'll-
I don't want to get in anyone's way.
We'll give Maeve the chance to, not all of us need to bombard, I think. But if she needs help, we are right behind you.
They're right
Hopefully
behind
there
you.
aren't too many additional jumps. And once I've done it,
Maeve.
do you want me to take well, we don't have a rope anymore.
You've got
Well,
this.
what I was going to
Well-
say, Maeve, like I do have something that I think will help.
A towel?
I don't know if you're superstitious. Okay. But I will say that these have made a jump longer than 15 feet before. And you see that I move the Air Jordans out of the bag where they've been reasonably protected. So I don't know like if they'll fit your feet. That's not what I'm saying, because I don't want you to lose them either. But like, I don't know, like kind of, touch them, like maybe some of that'll rub off on you.
When you take them out of the bag, do they like sparkle and stuff?
I a little bit of minor illusion.
Yes.
I will. I don't normally do this, particularly with someone's smelly trainers, but in this
What is a
case,
trainer?
trainers like
It's a
the
kick.
shoes you wear when
I
you're
mean, like
working out.
sneakers. Yeah.
Sneaker.
Okay.
Yeah,
Okay.
sure.
Understood.
Sneakers, got it.
So
New York.
But the thing that I want you like so as you're gonna touch these and the luck's gonna rub off on you, I just want you to remember that Michael Jordan once said that once you leave the ground, you fly. Some people fly longer than others.
Oh, I love that. Did he really
Hopefully
say
you
that,
don't
Silas?
forget while you're midair.
Yeah, he said it.
Fall.
I saw that he wrote it. Yeah.
I'm gonna catalog that
All
along with
right.
all the other bad sayings you guys have taught me this entire time.
Well, we're about to watch Maeve fly, so I think it's going to be true. Maeve, I think I think it's going to be awesome, but I will say, thinking about that third line, there is a
Which one?
point. Well, the
Skip
line 3 is
3, don't
3.
slip.
Don't slip, Maeve.
Yeah, which
So-
I don't think any of us should slip, but that's a long.
But seriously, on this, I may have something else that could potentially help. And then you see that Silas brings towels out of his bag, and he says, "So when you get to each, I've heard these are ice flows, is what I've heard them be called somehow. But when you get to each of these, maybe you can, dry off your shoes, dry off the place. You know how ice sometimes can dry off because that's what happens sometimes when you have your snow cone and you put your napkin around it and it sticks to it. So maybe these towels will help. So they shouldn't weigh you down too much. I've got plenty of them.
I was
They're,
hoping
they're
for you to explain that
monogrammed
at some point.
Starlight Special.
So
Hoping
maybe
for
they'll help.
I think
Northland
Maeve,
Heritage Land.
like, sure, why not? I'll be a superhero. Ties it around like a cape.
Yay!
And then Silas just says, "You've got this.
You believe in me,
got this." And there's a little bit of inspiration that comes there.
Thank you.
Neb is gonna walk up and pat you on your back cape of towel, and she's gonna say, "This is gonna be awesome, and we'll be here if you need us. But I think you're gonna get this."
You're
And
also
she's-
positive that you're actually making me more scared right now.
Okay.
I'm not. It's gonna be fine. It's gonna be fine.
We're good. We're so apathetic about this. We don't really care what happens.
Neb
Nice
can't.
cover.
She can't hold in her excitement, and she's going to offer the help that she normally does, and it feels a little more powerful down here. It feels a little more like she can be really specific about the help, and like hold on to that. And when she removes her hand, she's going to say, "You're going to be strong as a bull. I can tell."
Nice.
And yeah, you'll have advantage on strength checks.
Amazing.
Perfect. Thank you.
Yeah, baby.
Okay. So, Maeve, with your superhero towel, your crampons on your shoes, and
And my
and the-
flashbacks to the 1 year that I did track.
yes, flashbacks when you're
I didn't like it
One
much
year.
at
the
all.
good luck from touching the trainers, the sneakers, as well as the warm, hand of Neb on your shoulder, all behind you. You can attempt this first 10-foot jump.
Okay.
So with a
So
10-foot
I'll take
running leap,
a running leap and give it a shot.
you fly into the air. You can see that it looks like you're going to be about a foot short until
Oh,
And then I just sense that their positivity is rubbing off on me, and I am not quite sure what to do with optimism, but we're gonna give it a shot.
we're going to give it a shot.
And I'll reach out and just everything I have, try and streamline myself into this to try and get a little bit more distance using what they've given me.
You want to roll
Sure.
it? Let's see.
Is it strength save? Strength?
No, right now it's just your D8,
Okay.
your additional.
So that is. So I can jump up to 12 feet
Okay.
in this go.
Fantastic. So as you can see, you're starting to short, but there's something that kind of powers you through. And as you make yourself more streamlined, you're able to get just the extra 2-3 feet that you need to land with those crampons on that space. However, you can feel a beginning of a start to slide. So give me
I
an
step
an
left.
advantaged an advantaged acrobatics check.
Okay.
You can use any of your fun stuff that you've received if you need it.
So I'm at a 17 without anything.
All right. We'll give it, yeah, you're at 17. You stop using one of those crampon feet to just dig into the ice at the side, stopping yourself right in the center of this flow. You can see the snow spray as the blades lock into that space, sort of scattering around across the rest of the lake. You can hear the shoo kind of echo of this stop as you hold very still in the center of this ice.
And Silas just lets out a woo, and he throws his arms up.
And I take-
More stalactites fall
Wow.
at the edge.
I'm sorry, I was really excited. And you see that there's a minor illusion of a white like poster board with a 10 in the middle of it.
I take the towel from around my neck and I wipe the floor.
Yes.
That's what I was sent to do.
Of the
Shake it
frost.
up and put it back on. All right. to my left.
So on the wall, you see skip 2 glow.
I will step left.
As you step left onto the next ice floe
Mm-hmm.
and put your foot on it, it tips a little bit where that crack was, but it holds, taking your weight as you step gently to the left. Step left glows on the wall.
All right.
I still don't know if it's the lip liner or the wall, honestly.
We'll
We
test out
discuss
the
that
lip liner
later.
later.
And I sort of prepare myself. I sort of step back as much as I feel I can safely balance.
Right. So
And
you
so-
only have 5 feet here. There is
Okay.
no running jump. This is a standstill jump. If you are looking to skip 1, it is a 5-foot standing still jump.
Okay. That in theory, I should be able to do
Okay.
comfortably. Right.
So same. I mean, if you depends
I'm
how
just
long
looking.
your thing works. How many times your leapage?
When you make a stand, half the distance. Okay, so I should be able to clear it.
I think so.
And I dig in deep to see.
Okay. You
And-
get into that proper track stance. 2 arms down, your
And
feet dug in behind
using
you.
some of the grit and
Yes.
also the dried ice because
Yes.
like you do. And I can leap from standing 13 feet. This time,
13 feet. So
if I need to.
now you've had the practice of that first jump. With this other one, it's like a cat. You just kind of fly into the air. You almost sort of like float a little bit in the middle, landing, skipping 1 on that next flow.
Is everyone seeing this? I mean, like, there's something really weird going on. Like,
I
she's
need an
jump-
acrobatics check for
She's
your
jumping
landing.
like a frog or
Is
something.
that advantaged or
Advantaged, yes, with your tools. With all of your tools.
Is everything.
22.
22 again. I mean, it's like an ice hockey. They do those things. It's just flying ice. Yeah. As you sort of stop, holding yourself again, superhero like, your towel floating in the air behind you.
And again, I will wipe off the ground as I turn left.
All right. Skip 1 lights up. Turning left lights up. With this one, you are not moving on the ice floe. You are simply pivoting your body to now face to your left.
Oh, this is the scary one. This is where I might need to dig really
So,
deep.
just for clarification,
Yes.
she's gone forward and now she's going to be going straight left.
Yes. She's now turned left and will be leaping left as opposed to leaping forward.
Would we be closer to helping her if we got off the dock and went left?
Let's see. You are currently 1, 2, 3, 4. No, you are still closer where you are
Okay. All
for
right.
this leap.
All right, so to skip 3, I need to get 15 feet.
This is again a standstill jump.
And of all the times to roll well on that, now was the time, and I did. So I can go up to 17 feet.
Whoa! So now, I mean, you saw a cat leap the last time. Now it's like a freaking
Wait, I'm
kangaroo.
sorry, I lied.
Oh, you lied.
I lied.
No worries.
Because it's a standing. I don't have
It's
enough
a
room to get
standing, yeah. So it's a
jump.
4 plus whatever you rolled. Not quite. Huh?
So that is 12.
Okay.
Was that with advantage?
This is not this is
it's
not
not
the
a
advantage.
die
This is just
roll.
how far she can go. Now,
How many
if
feet I
you
can
want to
go.
attempt to jump farther than you're capable, you can make a check for it. You can attempt it with an athletics jump and see how you do.
And that you
I'm-
get advantage on.
That I
That
will
you
get
will get
advantage on, so
advantage on.
I'm going to give that a shot, even
All
though
right.
that is not.
So you
my
have an
forte.
advantage athletics. Now you would have with the 4, was it a 4 plus 8?
Mhm.
So you would have had 12 feet.
Mhm.
Okay, great. That's going to help. That's going to determine your DC. So yeah, go ahead.
And you have your D6 for inspiration.
You have a D6 inspiration.
So right now I'm at a 16, which goes to 15, which I will throw the inspiration on there. 18 takes me to an 18.
All right. So with an 18 athletics, You saw a cat last time. This time it is like a kangaroo, but a scared kangaroo. There's a little bit of flailing up at the top as you actually go like feet first. So instead of landing directly on top, it's like you're reaching with your toes and you catch on with the edge of your crampons, pulling
It's
yourself.
almost like
Yeah, go ahead.
anyone watching almost sees Maeve's leg hyperextends a little bit. Her
Yes.
ankles bend in a weird way a little
Yes.
bit. But I'm able to roll that forward
Yeah.
and pull myself on.
Exactly. So
like
this-
it's just almost a little bit too far. Like
The human leg can't do that. Oh,
it's
she's okay.
perfectly beautifully silhouetted in this green cavern.
just like on the tips of her toes, and her
Yeah.
ankle is just slightly off.
And this
Like,
this time
rolls
Silas just
on.
goes like quietly, but then there are just fireworks going up silently, like
I
fireworks.
still need an acrobatics for slippage.
Oh my god.
16.
A 16. You hold yourself steady in the center of that flow. Everyone
just-
back on the land. You just hear them. Oh my god! They're very excited.
And as you're gathering yourself, a little bit later, you see something kind of float into your field of view, and it is a clean towel.
I thought
I
it was a snake.
wipe this one off. I take the other one off the hook and put this one on the hook. Send it back.
And Silas starts to
Thank
bring
you.
back the sealed.
I love it.
Thank you.
Thanks. And at this point, you see Skip 3 light up, as well as Don't Slip starts to glow on the side of the wall.
All right. What's the last one?
Turn
Turn.
right, step, skip.
I turn right
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
and I
It lights
step
up.
onto the next square.
Again, there's a little tipsy-turvy as you step onto the next one, but it holds as step lights up.
And then I'm going to try. Is the flow one ahead of me?
It is not, it is 2. The large flow is 2 ahead of you.
Sorry, the 2,
Yeah.
because I need to skip. Yeah. So I can go up to 8 feet. So I need to
Okay.
jump over 5. Yeah.
You need to jump over 5. And you have 10-foot running if you need it on this one.
Oh, perfect.
Oh,
Then I can go even higher than I can go to
All
13.
right. Fantastic. New bit of confidence. Yeah. Like a speed skater. 1, 2, leaps through the air, landing on that second flow. And even if you were to skid a little bit, you slide onto this larger ice flow in the center, which actually has these kind of snow banks along the edge a little bit.
Maeve, doing great.
I knew she was the one to do this.
I didn't.
I had no clue she had those kind of hops.
I'm going to be paying for this for days.
I mean, I don't mean to alarm anybody, but this place is like magic. Like something was not right
No.
about that.
We're magic.
But we
Maeve is
didn't-
magic. We're magic. That's right.
The eyeliner's magic. Yes. Wow.
But did we even think about what if Maeve didn't make the jump? Did we even think that far?
Thanks for the confidence.
You heard us say that.
So then, what is here in front
So
of me?
as you get here, the first thing that you see, because it was what pointed out before, is that buried about must be 2-3 feet down into the ice of this flow. You can look down, peer through the crystal clear ice, and see a glass shard. It's quite a ways down there in this solid, thick ice.
How is the lighting in here?
It's just your green ring.
No.
and your headlamps if you're using them. So yeah, it looks like the Fortress of Solitude. And
We needed epic lighting for this epic moment.
you did, and it's everything's reflecting off of, so the little bit of light is actually doing quite a bit.
So Silas does actually at this point float
Yeah.
the ring.
Okay.
And if he's at the very edge of the dock, then he
Yes.
can
can make
actually
it
get it to float it just where she can see, like,
Yeah, so looking down, you can
easy.
see it. You can even see a little bit of your own face reflected way down in there in that piece of glass, as well as the green light above you. And give me an investigation check or perception. Give me a perception check. 8. It's the coldest right over this shard. You can feel as you sort of lean over to look at your reflection, even your face looks blue almost, just from how cold it is. All of the blood has just retreated from your skin, trying to
a
stay
little
warm.
tighter.
I'm actually cold.
Good. Your breath as it leaves your face, just your mouth just mists the air in front of you, and you just have the sense that you're missing something.
There's something we haven't.
Do you see the shard?
It's here, and it's cold here. It's really cold here.
Yeah,
Are
it's
you
like we're on
okay?
ice.
Did anything change over on the board?
Nothing changed.
Not on our side.
Is everything
mean-
lit up?
Everything is lit up.
You did all the instructions.
Wait a second. Wait.
What?
What if Steve for Steve's? What if that's another clue?
It's like
What
it's
if
like
it conjures him
Beetlejuice.
up like Beetlejuice?
Steve.
And then we can
I'm
ask
really
him
impressed
questions.
with you
Hi,
right
kids.
now. I'm really impressed.
To look in the mirror, turn around 3 times, say Steve 4 times, and then spit.
And then he Kool-Aid Mans through the wall.
Yeah. Yeah.
And he's who you will marry.
One of those, like, I don't know what they're called.
I loved those. Oh, sorry.
Robin is right. Who has the cipher? Who can see if that actually means anything?
I mean, just I don't know what that means. Cipher, like we weren't given. The rats didn't say anything about a cipher.
No,
I
like
mean-
all of these have been the
think-
series of just letters that we have to translate with the special code.
Oh,
Maeve's been doing it real well.
Maeve, do you have your book with you?
I do. It would translate just the Steves translate to A across the board.
Like Canadian A or like the letter A?
The letter.
Like you mean like A.
Steve
Oh,
is
that's
the key
it.
word. Yeah.
You just have to say ah.
Stalactites fall.
Yes, stalactites fall. As Robin goes, ah!
It wasn't me this time.
There has to be something to the 4 Steves. There's something we're not seeing.
Have you tried just digging in the ice?
Silas, do you want to float it?
Absolutely.
Do it.
Like, and he grabs it. It's like, yeah, how much this weigh? Yeah, I got it.
Okay.
I mean, listen, if I lose your priceless axe that has enormous sentimental value to you, you'll forgive me, right? No. Seriously, I got this. Easy peasy. And then I start to like float it out there to her.
Can I look at the flow that lit up?
None of the flows lit up necessarily. I mean, it's the glass shard. The shard.
It was the shard that
the shard
lit up.
You're on the big center flow
Um,
that has the shard in the center. But I guess Silas, you are floating over the axe
I
at this
am.
moment. Okay.
And then he's just singing under his breath. It's
Yeah.
just really, really soft. And he's just, you're so vain. You probably think this cave is about you. And he's just like,
Well, that song was about Steve.
Oh, that's
Now
right.
we know. Carly.
You guys don't understand. I'm sitting here wondering if there are 4 Steves and we've only met one.
Oh no.
I'm not even gonna think like that
Like
right
they're
now.
all brothers, like, and they all
Find
just have
out.
this.
The
It's
axe
my
is
brother
landed
Steve
next
and
to
my
you.
other
Plural
brother
of that
Steve.
be? An irritation of Steve's?
So the
Uh,
word skip is in every single one.
Yes.
Say skip 4 times.
Well, I wonder if 2-step L. Nope.
Well, try the axe.
So that.
Yes, the
Oh
axe is
wait.
landed.
Hang
Go
on,
ahead.
hang on.
When in doubt.
Sorry, I'm puzzle braining.
It
So
worked
if
with
we
Gimli.
get rid of the letters S, T, E, V, which are the skip letters in 3 of them, and then S, T, E, V is also the skip letters in the 4th one. So that would leave E.
None of
So
that makes
it would
any
be
sense
E
to me,
S
but it
T
sounded really
E
good.
V E S T. I need a piece of paper to write this down. I can't do this in my head.
As Maeve, goes through her backpack,
Forgive
pulling out her
me.
notebooks and her
Get
codes.
out. What is Maeve doing?
She's trying to
Yes.
pull out the magic lip liner.
Sorry,
Well, she
please
has
continue
this-
without me while I write
No worries.
things.
She
She
has.
has the cipher.
Well, let's look around here and see if there's anything else, and start to figure out a way to get her back, because I don't want her to have to make all of that jumping all the way
Well,
back.
no, in video
agree.
games, after this happens, like you just fast travel out.
Really?
Sounds great.
Let's hope for the fast travel, but look around for another idea. How about
Click
that?
map.
For all we know, as soon as we crack this, the 4 Steves are gonna show up and we're all dead.
An irritation of Steve's.
He doesn't like hugs.
One,
Don't give him a
Good to
hug.
know. It's good to know. No hugging. At least,
Steve does not like
the
hugs.
one that you encountered. No hugging that one.
Yeah.
And I do want to kind of scan everything again, just to see, is there anything on our side that we've missed?
Yeah, give
Silas
me-
lays
give me
down
a
on the
perception
ground and
check.
looks at the ceiling.
The ceiling, of course.
Just-
Perception checks from each
Yeah.
of you for these
Yeah.
Okay,
ones.
let's do this.
Oh, it's almost
Anyone
good.
can perception check if they want.
10.
And anyone can
Nine.
investigation check for a hint. What'd you get for
Yes,
Alicia?
20.
A 20? A natural
I never
20?
rolled 20.
I think I might have this. So EST.
Seriously, if she figures this out, like we're gonna have to, like, I don't know, make her dinner or something like that. 'cause
I mean,
honestly,
I
I'm
think
gonna
we're
be
making
really
her dinner
impressed.
just for making it all the way over there.
Yeah,
Like
that's
that
true.
was
I
enough.
love dinner.
So as you're all looking around,
No, that's not it. Darn it.
no worries. As you're all looking around, Fairuza, with your natural 20 perception, you're very focused on your axe. This is your beloved axe that Silas has floated across, and he's laid it on the ice floe. And as you're looking right at the edge of the ice floe where your axe has been placed on the ground, you think you see a little something odd about the ice right there.
Above the ice or at the edge of the ice?
At the edge of the ice. So there's a pattern or something in the ice right where your axe has been set down.
Don't
But
get worried,
it's
but
far away. It's 60 feet over there. But in the green and the way you kind of look at it, there's something it's weird.
And as Fairuza was looking at it, if you could catch her eyes, you would see little sort of like almost like electricity sparkling in them, almost like she can adjust the color of her eyes on her own. She's looking at it and she leans over to Ned. Are my eyes like playing tricks on me? Do you see something bizarre there at the edge of the ice where my axe is?
I
Don't
don't,
say
but
anything out loud. I don't want to
I
scare
don't, but-
her.
well, I mean, Maeve is right there. Maybe she can get a close look, because I don't see it, but if you see it, there must be something.
Maeve, can we sort of interrupt you from your code cracking for 2 seconds?
Absolutely.
Look to the right where my axe is. Do you see anything bizarre on the edge there?
Do I?
So as you crawl
Silas
over to
moves
look
the
at
ring
the ring to
over.
help. As you come over again, deep down in the ice, buried, you think you see letters in a circle. You see an S and an S. Give me an advantaged perception,
Okay.
Maeve.
19.
Now that you've seen this one, as your eyes kind of glance around in the light, you think you see several others. Other little circles with letters in them. Kind of on the circumference of this ice floe.
All right. What letters do I see here?
So you move from SS, let's say you move clockwise. You then see a CS. You then see an FA. You then see an RB.
Are these paired together or are
Paired
they
together?
Oh,
in
okay,
the
I'm sorry.
circle.
So SS in a
SS.
circle.
Then CS in a
CS.
circle. FA
S-
in a circle. RB.
Sorry, it's FA.
FA in a circle. Then RB in a circle. And last, MF in a circle. And as you come to the one that says MF, as your hand grazes atop it, it begins to glow.
Oh my god! Oh.
That wasn't me.
Robin and I were like,
As you look at your hand, smoke or mist begins to kind of waft off the edge of it as it sort of stands over the MF buried deep in the ice.
Why are our initials in the ice here?
What do you
Wait, what is it?
What?
do you
Most
see?
of our initials. Silas, they
Yeah.
have a different letter here.
Wait,
for
what?
you.
What are the letters?
Yeah.
our initials?
S
Like our-
S.
Our initials.
Oh no, that's me.
CS.
That's me. SS. My
CS,
real
that's-
name's Sorrell. Silas Sorrell.
Really?
Yes.
Jordan
CS
was
is-
Jordan was just the Witsec name they gave me, or actually I chose it. Obviously,
Well,
So
does that
someone-
mean
All of our initials are in here.
that mean we each have to go
So-
over there?
oh no.
Okay.
Okay, well, Maeve has
Neb's all ready to
I knew
go.
we were coming here, though. Well, at least
Yeah,
the ice
that's
is nice and
disturbing.
dry for you.
All right.
Well, I have more towels too if anybody needs.
okay. So now we just have to figure out how we get the rest of us over there, right?
Oh no.
Yeah.
If I reach over and touch someone else's letter,
Yes,
does anything happen?
nothing happens now.
Well,
Did the rats do this?
We
Did
can
they
ask
know
them-
your real name?
That
We
is true.
know- knows who you are, Silas.
I mean,
It-
what-
The
Whoever
rats think you're
is-
Steve.
That's true. That's
Prophet
true.
of Steve.
The
And they-
prophet of Steve, I'm sorry.
And I just introduced myself as Neb. They don't
That's it.
know my legal name. But
That's
you
it.
know what?
Wait, what is your legal name? Again, I can't
Yeah,
remember.
Carolyn.
Carolyn? Carolyn
Yeah.
Oh,
Stern.
Carolyn. That's a
Yeah.
lovely
Yeah.
name.
Thank you. But is this really the weirdest thing? We've already thought that the whatever's happening here was related to us. I mean, Fairuza was just saying it when she came to the bottom. This is just confirmation of that, right? That
This is beyond
Absolutely.
confirmation. This
Yeah.
ties us all the way back to the beginning. The ticket, the room, the train. I'm wigging out here.
This disgusting odor.
This is like some Uhtred son of Uhtred stuff right here.
You know,
Destiny is all.
that actually
It
makes
is-
me feel a lot better because that means we are meant to be here, right? That this isn't an accident. This isn't we just five
Well, I
strangers.
mean,
who
only if we
got on
like
a
live
train.
across the ice cubes here, they're probably gonna.
Maybe we can't die. You ever think about that?
Oh,
I've
oh,
thought
I
about
don't
that
know
a
to test
couple of
that.
times.
Like finding
Maybe.
the invincibility star. Yeah.
Yeah, Miss Robin, I've thought about that a couple of times, and I don't want to test that anymore.
Well, it's like you can't kill NPCs in Skyrim, right? So it's like, actually, you can in Skyrim. You just couldn't in the earlier games. So never
would
mind,
you
bad
all like
reference.
to find a way over here?
Yeah,
All
yeah,
right.
okay.
Yes.
Okay.
We all have to get over there somehow. All right. then.
Deborah,
Neb
are
is-
there any
Yeah.
stalactites
Pontificating.
or mites that look like they are load bearing?
On the
Loaded
ceiling?
question.
No, might.
The mites. I mean, not out in the lake, obviously.
No, I'm saying like in the area
Yeah.
before we got in.
Yeah, there's a ton that are really big and sturdy.
And there's nothing else in here except stalagmites or stalactites, right?
Yes, that's all you see.
Silas just starts to kind of idly float the axe back
Okay.
to us.
Thanks, Silas.
Well,
All right.
I know I'm not going to be able to jump this as me. I can try as a wolf.
Hmm.
I've at least had experience like that.
What if you could turn into something that jumps really, really far and then carries some of us?
Like a T-Rex?
Like a kangaroo?
That's the first thing you.
I mean, a velociraptor. Well, yeah, but a velociraptor couldn't take people as much as a T-Rex could.
We probably also want something that isn't so heavy that it's going to cause ice
Or something
issues, and I think a T-Rex might.
Do you think you can turn into a blue whale yet? Like, because
Blue
then you
whale?
could just, like, we could just walk across you.
What about a kangaroo?
Are those cold water fish?
Or what about a penguin? I mean,
Are they
that's
fish?
technically not a bird, right? I mean, you could, or it's not a
Bird.
fish either. It's
No,
a
but
loophole. It's a
Why are we
loophole.
asking
You all
Matt
hurry
to
up.
be
It's really
curious?
quite cold over here.
Yeah,
Okay. I'm
Maeve,
gonna.
what are you doing while they're trying to figure this out?
I'm sitting here like looking at
Shaking her
these
head.
letters, just going, and then hearing them talking about kangaroos and blue whales, and
Yes.
just kind of like
Neb,
Yeah.
I've got an
All
idea.
around shivering.
Can we come back to where the ropes were real quick?
Yes.
Like others can come too. I'm not trying to split the party or anything. But Neb, do you think you can make one of those like fireballs? And then like I could try to float it up to the top of the rope and burn through the rope where we can get our rope back?
We have to be able to get
But
out
then
of
how
here.
do we get back out?
Oh, I keep thinking fast travel's at play.
Yeah, and as soon as it leaves my hand, it only goes so far before I had all that practice with the goop on top. I don't think that's how that one works. No, I think okay. I mean, I can try to turn into something that jumps far and maybe something that carries someone, but that still only gets two of us. Fairuza, do you think
I think
You
I
got-
can do this.
do you think you got this?
Yes.
Okay.
So here's the deal though. Hear me out. If we have knives, I can float a knife up and I can cut the rope. I can then grab the rope and pull it back up there and tie it off on something if we need to.
90 feet?
Oh,
60
it
feet.
would be like
So
Probably
it's
far
90
enough.
feet up.
There's nothing
Oh,
else that we
never
think we
mind.
could suspend it at 60
'cause-
feet.
You could, yes, you could tie it, you could cut it and tie it back up at 60 feet. Maybe.
What
Not
are
a
you
bad thing to figure out.
What do you
I'm just trying to say if somebody falls in there,
it's gonna
are
suck.
we,
I have
are we
personal
swimming in there to get them, or are we
um
going
well,
to pull them out?
conceivably.
I would suggest not having anyone go in the water. I have very personal experience with that. So no, if one of us falls in, I think you're trying to drag them out. But yeah,
Well, conceivably, I'm assuming I'd be the least affected by cold water. The least affected. Still affected, but the least affected, I think.
I think also, unlike with Maeve, we not together, but like someone should go, and then when they get to the next part, the next person goes. So that way, if there is a problem, we're all a little closer to help.
Agreed. Very
I don't think we
nice.
just
I
send somebody and we all wait here, because halfway across that skipping and stepping, none of us can reach that.
Do we know
You're
that
absolutely right.
whether they can support the weight of two people, or
Considering all of our initials are on that ice floe, I'm positive it can support us, because they
Maeve,
know
are
that much about
you
us. I just
Interacting
don't.
at all with your initial area?
Yeah. So what happened was I started to smoke
Put
and
your
glow.
hand over it and it just glowed a little bit, and there was like a mist that came up off of your hand.
Is the mist behaving in any particular way, or did the seal underneath or the symbol underneath change at all?
Fantastic. Advantage perception check, please. Or let's do an investigation on this one, unless you prefer the other.
I would prefer investigation.
Go for investigation.
18.
It is drifting
Dice tonight.
towards the rest of the party. When you place
Oh.
your hand over it, the mist, almost as if it's being blown in the direction of your friends. And you find that the more of your hand and arm you place over it, the more of it there is. And when you pull it back, it seems to disappear.
This is odd. Does it feel colder as I touch that?
It does feel quite cold, but not necessarily colder. If anything, it sort of tingles a little bit.
Okay, I'll put my hand closer.
Closer and more of your body
I think
leaning
I
over
might
it.
be sending some help, but I'm not sure. Yeah, a little bit more leaning over.
Yeah, as you lean over it, the more and more of your sort of body mass begins to cover and step over your initials, these MF buried deep in the ice. This mist floats off of you, glowing bright blue. It sort of flies over the air and creates a misty blue bridge from the closest ice flow to you, to the next one. So the last jump for everyone now has a misty blue bridge, as long as Maeve is standing on her initials.
Send the strongest jumpers first.
Or, well, both. Silas, you can bring things all the way over there, right?
Yes.
If I turn into a rat, can you just carry me on
Yes.
Wow.
That's what I was trying to do before. Yeah, but we went a different direction.
over? Yeah,
But yes.
Do it.
I think it was probably important that someone jumped the thing. But now, if I go over there, I'll get another bridge going. It'll be easier for all of you, right? Because I can't think of anything
great
that
idea.
I
Absolutely.
could jump and carry any of you. So, and she's as she
I
says
got
so,
this.
she just whoop into the tiny little blue-black rat with the blue eyes on her
Silas.
back legs, looking very proud of herself because she did it
Silas
really quickly.
reaches into his bag at this point
Yes.
and just kind of takes an edge of the towel with the tag and rips the tag off, and then kind of like fashions it around the back of the scruff of the rat.
Super Nebrat. You get
That's
it.
so
All right.
cute.
And Neb does
love
the thing where she turns in circles trying to look at her own back.
No, don't worry. It looks really cool. I promise.
She's chasing her tail.
It says
then
100%
Silas-
cotton, dry clean only.
All of that is true.
And then Silas begins to float Nebrat across.
Nebrat, it's a strange sensation. As you sort of float over these ice flows, you see the freezing cold water and the cracks below you, and then you float over this blue misty bridge, finally landing just couple of a foot at the edge of this ice flow in the center.
And I will turn back into my regular self and look back at Silas and give him a huge thumbs up.
He shoots. He scores.
Thank you for not
Wow.
actually tossing me. I appreciate that.
Yeah.
Maeve, where was the circle with my name on it?
It's right there, and I point to it.
Yeah,
And
you were the second in the clockwise. As you go over and step your body on top of the CS, very deep, another bridge now covering the 15-foot leap, made of the blue mist, just sort of oozing off of Neb, flying through the air and creating this transparent, misty blue bridge covering that 15-foot jump.
That was the jump I was worried about.
I mean,
That's
this
not
blue
an
mist,
easy one.
it's like blue lanterns. This is like the power of hope.
Oh yeah, that's good stuff.
It is.
All right, can anyone turn into any other small things? Miss Robin?
Robin was a termite in a previous life. She worked in a fantastic. No, it was a Fantastic Voyage. No, the one where they go into the. They get shrunk down. And...
I once was an extra on Honey, I Shrunk.
What's the movie I'm thinking Yeah, flip them down and
I don't know.
I don't
they
know.
injected them into a person. And
Oh,
Inner
you're thinking
space.
Inner
Inner
space.
space.
Inner
Yes.
space. Yes.
Oh,
Forgot
Fairuza,
about
do
the
you
inner
think
space
you can
cat.
make it?
I think Fairuza could make it.
Fairuza,
I
do you
am-
have this or?
Do we have any more crampons?
Sure. I'm gonna say yes. Let's say you brought
Okay.
3 pairs. So there's 2 more left for you, unless Maeve can you can float Maeve's back if you want them. So Fairuza, based on your stats, so you can, with a running jump of 10 feet, you can jump 17 feet. From standing still, you can
Yes.
jump 8.
So I can do a running jump then.
You can do a running jump to
Alright.
you can clear this first jump. You're pretty confident.
Okay.
Now, there's some slippage. So, with crampons, you'd have an advantaged acrobatics check when you land.
Okay. Acrobatics check.
All right. So, Fairuza steps back to the edge of the dock, takes her 10-foot running leap, flies through the air like this is nothing. Arms, cycling through the air as she does. And as you land, did you wear the crampons? We're saying you
Yes,
took a
I
pair. Okay. And you try to dig those ice,
Yeah.
shards into there. Give me an advantaged acrobatics check, please.
Bad.
Advantaged.
Oh yeah. 15.
Okay, you stop yourself standing in the center of that flow. Having watched Maeve go through it, you know that you need to just step left onto the next flow.
Left.
Which you do. It teeter-totters a little bit under your weight. You get your balance and are there. You
Right.
now have a 5-foot jump, which you can do from standing still. You'll just have
Can I
to do
just
the
step
acrobatics.
5 feet at this point?
You
Yeah.
probably could. That's basically what you're gonna do.
Maybe.
All right. So you
Comes out and it almost looks like she grows taller as she starts breathing. And she takes one big step.
one large step with just a little sort of hop in the middle.
Yeah.
As you get to the other side, acrobatics check, please, to stop yourself from sliding. Advantaged.
Okay. 11. 14.
14. You stop yourself in the center of that ice flow and turn. And to your left, as you turn left, this beautiful blue translucent bridge. It looks like a cloud of mist. Spans 15 feet over cracked ice.
I did it, you guys.
That was wonderful.
Well, come on then. Again, it's very cold here. Maeve's fingertips are turning like blue and white. Got
It's
some
really
Rhinos
Neb,
happening.
Neb, you're starting to feel it too. I mean, you're all of your bodies are just sort of
And Fairuza just crosses the bridge.
all right. You put a foot out and step on what appears to be nothing. Mist, cloud, but it supports your weight. As you take another step, Neb, as you're standing there, each step that Fairuza takes, you can feel kind of this little shock of energy. You can feel that you are holding her up in the air as she takes the steps, crossing 15 feet, arms out, amazed, stepping down onto the ice floe on the other side.
She just instinctively grabs Maeve into this huge hug out of nowhere.
You turn to
Maeve
the
sort of
right.
just goes stiff and is like,
Cross the second bridge that Maeve, you feel the weight and the energy of as she then comes over and
and then
hugs
Maeve
you.
sort of kind of relaxes into it because Fairuza's warm. All right, you can let me go now.
Sorry.
Your letters are over there.
Welcome to your letters.
My letter.
There are
So
lots of meanings for letters in this game.
Yeah.
So Fairuza, yes, next to Neb, just beyond, you see the FA buried deep beneath the ice.
Don't forget your axe. Don't let it fall into the water.
Oh, of course not.
Okay.
As you grab it and step, placing your body weight covering over the FA, you also feel this blue mist, this energy kind of escape from your body, from your pores, as it flies through the air and now covers the bridge. The third one, that 5-foot gap. There is now just the 10-foot gap at the front to jump, and it is Silas and Robin.
As you come back to Silas, you see that he is seated on the ground,
Yes.
and he has taken off his boots and he's rolling up his pants. And you see that he's about halfway into lacing the shoes on the Jordans.
Okay.
And he's like putting those on. He's like, okay, Miss Robin, I've got this.
I
I've got
believe
it.
in you. You've
I'll
got
be
this.
okay. I'll
You've
be
got
okay.
the spirit of Michael Jordan in you, and I've seen Space Jam. He can jump.
Absolutely, absolutely.
Yeah, I
And
forgot about that.
this is the thing.
High
that,
jump,
like,
long jump.
this is what he
One's
said
just
though.
vertical and one is just tilted the other way.
That's all.
Just
I
direction.
know that fear is an obstacle for some people, but it is an illusion to me. Failure always made me try harder the next time. I should have left that last part off, but it's okay. I've got it. I've got it.
Don't worry, I'm here if you need anything. I'm the Jiminy Cricket on your shoulder. I'm here. I'm here.
Just out of curiosity, Miss Robin, what would you do, like if I fell in?
I'd be there. I don't know. I just have to be there. I just have to.
That's the right kind of ambiguous. And Silas just takes off running at that point.
All right.
And,
With a 10-foot lead, you can do 13 feet.
and as he jumps, his tongue comes out,
Yeah.
and the tongue is just wagging. And there's just a slight, like, almost like he's gripping a ball that doesn't exist. And then he's going to land over there.
All right. Do the Air Jordans give you advantage on acrobatics checks?
No.
No. Then you
I mean,
have
they
a
do.
flat
In his head,
acrobatic.
they probably do.
Magic item.
acrobatic
In your heart.
You can give me a charisma acrobatics check.
Oh, okay.
No, you can't.
I'll
I'm
take
just
you up
saying.
on that. All right.
The spirit within.
It's okay.
You're persuading the ice to let you
He
stay.
hangs out on the side of trains all the time. So that is an 18.
An 18. Those, even though they skid, they slide, very risky business across. You're able to just kind of like move them a little bit so that you get a little friction, and it stops you sort of very cool landing, right at the edge of that flow.
And he just kind of twists and
Yay.
twirls a towel for a moment,
Yep.
and then wipes his brow.
Maeve
And-
hands him her towel and says, you need it.
Well, he's crossing all the other blue
Oh, he hasn't crossed yet. I'm
bridges.
sorry. Never mind. Scratch
He's
that.
landed.
So-
But you are blue bridges, blue, misty, cloudy bridges all the way back.
And the whole time that he's running, it's almost like a home run trot. He's just like, and the crowd goes wild, and he's like, going
And
around.
it's disconcerting at first to step onto nothing really and be supported, but it starts to get cool once you learn to trust it.
And as he does, he kind of jumps a little
Yeah.
bit, like
It's holding your weight. And
okay.
Fairuza and Neb and Maeve, again, you feel this, like, it's not weight, but you can just feel the like pressure of his energy as he crosses over the bridge that you are maintaining.
Oh, that is so cool.
And I'm
is.
gonna
This
come over.
one's settling, but
Sure.
Which one's mine? He starts to ask as he gets on that last bridge. Which
Yours
one's mine?
is right in front. As you
All right.
step onto the major ice flow and look down, you see an SS 1 foot in front of you.
And he is going to just jump off the last little bit of the bridge and superhero land like over the top of it. And I mean, he's in the air so little that it's barely time to do it, but he still does it.
Bruce is gonna be like, Silas, never change.
and Maeve is very concerned about the ice cracking. Understanding.
The mist floats off of your body. This one with a impact, almost a speed with sort of which you landed. It flies over, covering that 10-foot jump. The entire walkway is now ice flow and misty blue bridge for Robin.
Oh, well, don't mind if I do.
The yellow boots step onto this misty blue cloud. You can see your big toe wiggling inside the little front of that boot as you climb over the one, over the next. These kind of arching bridges that bring you back to the center flow. 4 of your teammates are already standing atop of their initials. You can see the obvious spot for you.
I think we need a picture. And she's gonna pull out her little Polaroid and kind
Oh,
of step back
yay!
on the bridge. She's like, okay, everybody, wave.
Don't fall off. Don't fall
Hilarious.
off.
It's like,
Say axe.
And she'll snap a picture.
Axe.
Amazing. When you
blue
snap it,
lips, like teeth chattering.
is this a Polaroid or is this a
Yeah, it's a
digital
Polaroid. Yeah.
As it comes out and
Okay.
you sort of are waiting for it to develop, do you walk over to your spot?
I do. But I'm
As
still
you step
waving it.
onto yours and you're still waiting, sort of, shaking this thing. As you step on, everyone bursts into color and mist. Forms of this mist begin to fly around your bodies, creating all different sort of shapes and sizes and colors as it envelops you. Now we're going to go around here. Maeve, the shapes and colors around you begin to take a form, and as you look down at your body and these extra extensions that surround you, you get the very deep sense that you are seeing your future. What do you see as you look at yourself? What do the others see as they look at you and the mists surrounding you?
The first thing you notice is that Maeve almost is like you have two images passing in front of each other and then back together again. So there's a moment where Maeve is in focus, and then there are two, and then back to one, and back to two, back to one. And when she is in focus in that one, she's sort of draped in this loose, sort of free-flowing, the mist sort of trails off in these loose garments. Her hair is long and waved and not braided, and there are some shapes near her head. In her hand there is a thin blade that looks almost like the midnight sky crystallized into a piece of metal or stone, something. And then the two shapes sort of turn and almost face each other and then meld into one.
Is there a color? Is it this like midnight blue?
The main
No.
color you get from her is almost this wine purple, and there's gold, and you notice that she has freckles, and they're almost like pinpricks of light on her
Yeah.
cheeks.
Yeah.
They almost look like they could be constellations.
So as
that
all
are
of you, yeah, go ahead. Sorry.
glowing. Yeah.
So as all of
Okay.
you look at Maeve while this is happening, you can see Maeve as you know her standing there. But these mists and this wine, purple, gold flecked colors just seem to kind of, as she said, make these shapes above her head and create this illusion of another one of her as it turns to look her in the face and then flash back into one. The sort of brightness on her cheeks almost appears to be floating an inch off of it and then presses against her and floats off again. As we continue around this circle, Silas, as you look at yourself and everyone looks at you and get a glimpse of your future, a prophecy, a destiny of who you may become, what do they see?
With Silas, you see kind of flashes of almost like a teal, almost a little more blue than teal, kind of a Carolina blue light and energy that is just kind of swirling around, and you see a form that is just floating, essentially kind of around and above Silas, that is seated crisscross applesauce, and is just kind of fake meditating for just a second, and then he just kind of does his hand this way, just kidding, but you see that he's wearing like some kind of flowing jacket almost, but it could be mistaken for a cape. You see that there is a hood to this, but then you definitely still see a hat peeking out under the hood. And you see that, scanning from the top down, you see one of his eyes is lit with kind of a scintillating, changing colors light. And it almost looks like a star coming out of just one eye. Like, it's very important that it only happens in one eye. And all that's happening. And then kind of on the rest of the form, even though it's a little, foggy and unclear, you see so many pockets. There are so many pockets on every bit of the clothing. Pockets, more pockets than anyone could ever conceivably use.
Cargo outfit.
Yeah, and
Pockets
then
on pockets.
essentially you see that you do see that as he's kind of moving, there are some different movements that he's doing with his hand, but you do see that blue swirling kind of energy and light is moving faster than the rest of the figure, that it's almost like it's getting there first, and then the hand follows, and ultimately then he eventually kind of floats up and kind of disappears for a moment, and then he kind of reforms, floating in a similar way.
Yeah. As you're all watching this sort of teal movement, and one thing you notice is that when it forms around Silas's own, current figure, it's almost like the cape, the hood, the jacket, the flowiness, almost as if it's being blown by a wind that is not here, not of this time. Continuing around the circle, we have Carolyn Neb Stern. When your destiny presents itself in this moment, what do the others around you see?
It's hard to see her at first because every time you look, and when you blink, or maybe you get distracted and look at someone else and look back, but every time you look, there's a different animal standing there. There's the wolf that you've seen, and the rat, and the pangolin, but there's also a hawk and a fox and a leopard and a bear and just all sorts of creatures. There are dozens and dozens and dozens of them. And when you finally focus on the eyes that are always that blue that you associate with Neb, you can kind of then see the in-between, the point in where she's not one of these creatures, but is herself. And the blue of her eyes almost seems to bleed into the rest of her. Every time she comes back to herself, she's a little different. And then she changes, and then she comes back. It's a little different. And it just forms over her and down her, and there are these wisps of color with little pinpoints of light, like you're looking at a starry sky and able to see some of the nebula that are out there. And she has this kind of joyous grin on her face, and it's almost this impish kind of glee, like she's raiding the closet of a costume shop and is just trying on everything, but every time she comes back to herself, she's a little more of this bluish nebula starry sky.
As you're all watching Neb go through this Neb, animal, Neb, animal, back and forth, it's almost as if those eyes stay in one place. And suddenly there's the rat, and then there's Neb, and then there's the wolf, and then there's Neb, then there's a leopard. And at a certain point, the transformations are happening so quickly that it's almost like they're there at the same time. And it's just this mist of a creature that has sort of surrounded Neb's figure in front of you. Continuing around for Fairuza. As Fairuza's destiny, as the prophecy of what could be for Fairuza begins to present itself, what do the others see?
So at first, Fairuza was just looking at Maeve, like, what's going on with her?
Maeve has a
head?
big smile on her face.
She's like, and then she looks over at Nev, and she's just like, and then she's looking at Silas, and like her mouth, and she just said, like, immediately she realizes this must be happening to all of us. So she's looking at her hands, and she's seeing almost as if there was pure electricity just running through her veins in her hands, something she had started to get used to down here, but now it's like almost out of control. And as she looks up, she looks at the four of you and notices that the four of you are looking at her. But you guys, she watches as the four of you do like this. Behind Fairuza comes a very tall version of her. Fairuza has no idea what's happening behind her. She's looking at her hands. But around, I mean, maybe 7'5", maybe 7, maybe a little bit closer to 8 feet. It depends. But she stands right behind Fairuza. This version is like, so you see almost like encased inside, like little, like skinny, tall Fairuza sort of standing there looking at the four of you. Behind her is this taller version, much more built out body-wise. Muscles are here. Her hair is whiter, more silver, and there are actual, like, it seems like there are actual like strands of lightning in her hair that just sort of glitter. And her hair, the taller one's hair is blowing. Her eyes are sparkling. Yes, the glasses are gone. The glasses are off. And where in Fairuza's face, maybe it's a result of her childhood, and how she sort of began. But she always, even though she's very like sure of herself and smart girl, there's always a little bit of doubt that she wore like just underneath everything. This version of Fairuza, you don't see any of that whatsoever. In fact, she's standing there, and as Fairuza is looking at you, the bigger Fairuza is looking at you, making the same exact movements. And Fairuza just uses her hand. She picks up her axe and does this with it. And the same Fairuza behind her picks up the same axe, but it's massive. It's like a massive great axe. And it has like, I mean, it's the same blue handle, but it's a much bigger, more imposing axe. And when Fairuza realizes that you guys are doing this, Fairuza sort of turns around fast. And with like a smile at the four of you, Fairuza disappears.
Woo!
Like, looks at you guys like,
So again, this looming giant Fairuza that just sort of shadows over the back of the Fairuza that you know in this time and place. And as she turns around and it sort of disappears, and she's trying to find this version of herself, we will shift over to Robin. Robin, as everyone else looks at you and you begin to feel this mist around you that shows you something of your possible future, what do they see?
They almost don't see anything as the mist begins to become more of a fog. And you can see a silhouette of Robin, and it begins to change form a bit. And it looks as though you can see outlines of Robin. You can tell she's wearing those same yellow rain boots. That's how you know it's her. But it looks like she's carrying a very big backpack, and it's iridescent. And she's wearing almost a pointed floppy hat with every flower imaginable just around the base. And there's little glints of hummingbirds floating around her head. And she's wearing a beautiful rainbow-colored shawl around her and a hummingbird pendant that keeps it together around her neck. But there's something very different here. Her glasses seem too small for her face. Her eyes seem bigger and wiser. And she looks sickly. Maybe it's just the color of the fog, but it's a hazy picture. You get just that much out of it. And then you see this silhouette, this figure you can make out, look up to the sky and raise her hands, and around each of you grows an iridescent bubble of protection around each of you.
As these bubbles sort of fly out of the hands of this hazy, enshrouded, foggy, backpack-bearing Robin, and come and sort of encircle the rest of you, it seems to focus the light and mist from each of you, and all of these colors begin to fly towards the center. They merge directly above this shard of glass, reflecting off of it and creating heat. As you all stand there and begin to feel the warmth come back at you as it goes down and melts through the ice below you. As the time that it takes for you to take in each other and the light to combine, the elements combine, it digs deep, melting the ice around the shard, down the 3 feet and exposing it as the mist dissipates and leaves you again in darkness.
What sort of trick was that?
You saw that then. Okay, that wasn't just me. I was going to ask because that was amazing.
I told you this place was super magic.
What was that?
I don't know, but I want to know more. That was amazing.
Nah, but
You looked so huge. You had so much lightning. That was and
I looked
Silas.
huge.
Yeah,
You were
I had to like crane
you
my
were
neck to see you.
Massive.
Ah,
Like you're not fitting
7.5,
through
8 feet
doors
tall.
kind of thing.
What is happening to us?
I don't know.
I've got a theory.
What?
You know, like in all those video games like Diablo, where when
Yes.
you're starting and you're creating it or like selecting your character, and it's like, oh my goodness, this person looks completely badass. Like, look at that armor, look at that giant sword they have, you know, like look at all that stuff, look at all those pockets, right? And then it's like, and you see that, and it's like, oh, that's like the level 80 or something. But then you start the game after you chose the completely awesome looking character. Then you start the game and you like are wearing like rags and you have sticks and maybe a fork to stab things with, right? And so maybe that's like this world's version of that. Maybe like we got to see what our like, you know, higher level personas might be if
No.
this was a video game.
No, I don't like it. I don't like it at all.
Robin,
Oh,
you
what
had a
don't you
giant backpack. Maybe you're carrying more stuff.
Why would I be carrying all this stuff? What am I gonna
That's
do with
true.
a giant
You did have a
backpack?
fantastic
I
hat.
couldn't figure it out.
you did, and there was the hummingbirds, and
Yeah.
you still had your rain boots.
Lots of flowers.
Yeah.
Something
Yeah.
wasn't right.
You've noticed that the heat has gone. It is
We
now
should grab
freezing
The
again.
shard because it's very cold. Actually, let's take that towel and wrap it up.
Hey, I
Okay.
knew they would come in handy. Now, come on.
Yes,
Come
you're
on.
very clever. And
So
I'm gonna
Maeve, yeah.
take
Maeve.
my hand wrapping the towel
Yep.
around it and reach down and then sort of wrap if I can grab the shard.
Yeah,
wrap it
so
up in the
like an
towel.
oven mitt, you
Yeah.
reach down and grab the shard, which you just sort of pull from its little spot in the ice, wrapping the towel around it it took you to lie down flat to reach down in there and get it, but you're able to pull it out and you have this little parcel. And I'm going to offer here as we're getting to the end, as you look around and the freezing cold, it is now dropped dramatically, even colder than it was before all of this. You can feel the sub-zero, your muscles beginning to kind of ache and seize up around you, but you also notice the ice hardening all around you. The seams, the cracks in all of the ice, because the blue bridges are now gone, but they're all beginning to sort of kind of tighten up and freeze, creating one solid ice pack around you.
We better get out of here. We don't need to be in this cave anymore.
So,
Nope.
so
We've been
let's
giving
make
our
sure we
way
put
out.
the shard in a really safe place. Like, who has the best pack?
Apparently
not
Robin does.
I guess I can hold anything. It's
I
my
will hand it to
destiny,
Robin.
apparently.
All right.
Give me the card.
You have the shard wrapped in a Starlight Special monogrammed towel that you place in your bag. So as you're looking, you can see, again, with this green light and some of the headlamps that you have, but now, really moving hurts as the cold begins to set in. You can begin to feel the moisture in your skin is starting to freeze as you begin to move, making your way towards that rope. The lake in here does indeed hold your weight. As you step out, you don't have to worry about jumping the flows. Everything in here is so cold that if you touch bare skin to anything, it sticks. You start to look at anything metal on your jackets and get nervous as you make your way back to the rope, which is now covered in frost and stiff with freezing.
I'm gonna light up my hand
Yep.
and basically just start grabbing the rope.
Okay.
And at least get as far as I'll go up a little bit and then
Yep.
I'll look over at Fairuza and go, Fairuza, I need a lift.
As Fairuza begins to help each of you climbing these things, you have your ropes, you have your harnesses. Again, this is a time thing, not necessarily a skill thing. As you begin to sort of climb up one by one, it takes so long to pull your bodies up and your freezing, numb muscles. But about halfway up, you begin to feel the heat coming back as one by one you climb the rope, climb the wall. Any little drops, you're able to stop yourself and make it back to the fourth lowest level of the mine. What's left is the mine shaft. You have your your rigs already set up. You can return climbing back up to headquarters. The shard safe inside of Robin's bag. It is now midday. Sunlight is streaming in through the cave entrance as you return to your camp.
Well, Silas, quest number 1 complete, right?
Absolutely. I feel like, we're coming back and the little question mark is lit up now. It's not empty anymore. And but we have to turn this in now though, right? Where would that happen? Do we have to go back to the train?
Do we go back to the train?
Yeah,
It would be nice to go back and freshen up.
Here's what I would say, seriously. So I know that we need all of the shards, but what would it be like if, how when Maeve made it across, which was epic, by the way, epic.
It was
But
me.
then you stood there and it did something magical and extended help to us. So what if, I don't know, I'm just spitballing here, but what if we put this shard in the mirror and then it does something for us to help us, further. And either way, they have showers on the train.
Magical.
That's what we're hoping.
The showers
Also
and
magical.
also the sitting situation on the train.
Yes. And maybe we can get the train.
And you do notice Maeve is struggling now. She's got her cane out and it's sort of shorter steps, and those jumps really took it out of her. She's not this is not an easy walk at this point.
We noticed when you jumped that one of your ankles twisted or your leg.
They're just.
You're okay?
I'm fine. They're always a bit unstable, but
It's like a Barbie doll.
Yeah,
something like
we're-
that. Yeah,
Man,
Well,
I didn't
it-
even
it's-
jump and my back hurts.
it's the plus the cold. It's not a good combination.
Well, maybe we can get this thing going again, and then we can get back to the train. And what if we could get the train back working? Don't we have an
I
engineering
think
book?
we could.
We had some plans with the cyanide and the lots of different ways we could maybe clear the path.
Maybe we could talk to that stone, Kool-Aid man, or
Let's
like
not
he might
talk to
help.
him.
Or there's a moose out there apparently.
There's
Or
also
something that's
something
gonna eat the
very,
moose.
Drive a
very
train.
big and scary out there we need to avoid.
Well,
so
maybe
let's
it can
stick
get
to
rid
the
of
tracks.
the avalanche, right?
Well, maybe.
All reasons to get out of here now before it gets
Right.
dark, right?
I'm with
We'll
you.
figure out a
Right.
lot of this once we get back to the train.
Maeve, are you gonna be okay to walk? Or you can
It'll be fine.
Well, we can get onto the thing here, right, and ride.
So
don't
there
we have
is
Yeah.
there is
Yay.
a push trolley. You
Nice.
can
Even
ride
better.
that
And Maeve
along
kind
the
of
track.
sits
Yeah.
down with a sigh of relief, takes out
Okay.
some aspirin from her bag and
Mm.
or Advil and takes some Advil
Yeah.
and sits down just sort of and then takes out
Perfect.
a flask
All
from
right.
her pocket.
So
And then
as-
Silas,
yes.
as he starts to do this, though, he does start, whistle while you work, but then he like starts enhancing it with minor illusion, and it's like a
Yeah.
whole bunch of whistles from 12 dwarves or whatever.
Yes.
Maeve
So
puts in
you-
headphones.
You've packed up your camp, all of the things that you want to take with you from your camp.
Mhm.
You've placed it on this push trolley.
Mhm.
As you all find your little spot there, and Maeve is drinking, Silas is singing,
I'll
and the rest
actually,
of you.
once
Yes,
everything
Neb.
is piled on there, as
Yes.
soon as like Silas gets into position, I go, "I'll race ya," and I'm gonna change into a wolf, and I'm gonna start to run down the tracks.
Oh, I'll never get used to that.
As Neb runs off in the distance, and Robin and Fairuza, you sit down on the front edge and feel the wind blow in your hair. It's beautiful. It's warmer day today. Still, cold, but it's beautiful
Mhm.
sun finally touching your face. You haven't felt sun in so long.
and Robin
as-
is
Yes, go
Robin
ahead.
is looking at that picture she took as it finally
Yes.
developed. And she's
As
just,
it develops, yes, you see these forms that came later, almost enveloping each of you, looking at you lovingly, as if they were always there. And the push cart continues down the tracks into the wilderness. And that is where we will end today's chapter of Children of Éarte. Thank you all for being here with me. Thank you
My face hurts from grinning.
for
this whole
prophesizing
time.
your futures on a whim. I
Yay.
appreciate that.
Oh my
Um,
god.
And we will see you all next week. Please remember that life itself is the most wonderful fairy tale.